Okay, today we're talking about major league lifestyle and what goes into a season or what happens to players that maybe fans don't always think about or don't realize. And I'm going to preface this video by saying this. The greatest job in the world might be being a major league baseball player. And I want everyone to keep that in mind because I don't want anyone to take this as if I'm complaining or saying, oh, the poor players, their life is so difficult because believe me, millions and millions and millions of people want to play Major League Baseball. That's all I wanted to do as a kid. It is a dream job. You get paid tons of money to play a game. So if you play in the major leagues, you are extremely fortunate. However, there are things that are tough about the major leagues. And so I got this question and I started jotting some notes down and let's go over them. The first thing is the amount of time that players are at the field. I don't think everyone realizes this. In fact, I know a lot of people don't realize this. A lot of people see the game being played at 7 o'clock at night, and they think the players maybe got there a couple of hours early to get ready for the game. For a 7 o'clock game, it is not uncommon for players to get to the field as early as noon. Some players get there even earlier. So I would typically, as a player, I would eat lunch at the field. And so I'd get breakfast. I'd wake up and I'd get breakfast. And then I would head into the field. Now, you might say, why the hell would you head to the field so early? Well, a couple things. One, as a rookie, you're kind of expected to be at the field early. A lot of times you'd have early batting practice. So you'd have batting practice before the game, but then you'd have what's called early BP, which was really early BP. And if you're a rookie, you're expected to be there. And if you're hitting 200 like I was, you're expected to be there. And so again, I'd usually get there around noon or so. You start to get your body going. You play a lot of games, 162 games in a season. This is another thing on my list. I wasn't going to say it just yet, but I guess I'll give you a preview. It's a lot of games. Your body gets the crap kicked out of you. The only day you feel 100% is the first day of spring training. And then you're always working through some type of minor injury, sometimes even a little bit more of a major injury. But you always have these minor things going on with your entire body. And so you've got to get there early. I would always get there early. I would go into the hot tub. I would get stretched out by my trainer. I'd get a massage if I needed it. Then I'm going to go to the cage. I'm going to start to work on my swing and get loose. Then I'm going to typically do early batting practice. Then after that, I'll come in and grab something to eat. You might watch some video on that night's pitcher to figure out how is he going to attack me and what's my game plan. Then you're going to get ready for your regular BP, so you're going to go back out on the field. You're going to stretch and throw, get your arm loose. You're going to take your ground balls. You're going to hit your regular BP. Then you're going to come back in again. You might grab another bite to eat. I always took a shower before the game. A lot of players do that. Might sound weird, but I always took a shower before the game. Then I'm going to get my jersey on. Then I'm going to go back out onto the field. I'm going to get stretched out again. I'm going to throw again to get my arm ready to go. I'm going to work through some sprints, then I'm going to play the game. I didn't even mention, typically at the beginning of every series, you have more of an advanced meeting. So the hitters are all meet together. The pitchers might all meet together. They're going to talk about that series. Pitchers are going to talk about the hitters they're going to face. The hitters are going to talk about the pitchers they're going to face. Then you're going to play the game. The game's going to end at like 10-ish. Then you're going to come back in. Dinner's served. So you can either eat dinner there. A lot of times you got to get a lift in. So you go and get your lift in. You eat your dinner. You take a shower. You might get your body worked on again. Typically, I'd always stretch after a game to try to make sure that my body was good for the next day. You might do a cold tub or sometimes a contrast. You go from cold to hot. Now it's like 11 something. It's almost midnight. By the time you go home and actually go to bed, and a lot of times it's hard to go to bed because you just played in a super intense game and your brain is going a million miles an hour. And so you finally fall asleep. Usually I'd fall asleep around like 2 o'clock. I'd wake up at 10, get my breakfast, go into the field. And you're doing this day after day after day after day. So I don't think everyone realizes exactly what a schedule looks like. And then you throw travel on top of that. So traveling in the big leagues is awesome, way better than in the minor leagues. But even in the big leagues, you're flying all over the country. A lot of times you're flying every 4 days. And so although travel is great, it does take a toll on your body. A lot of times game ends, like I said, at 10 o'clock. You've got to get all that stuff done really quickly. The team's got to pack everything up and get it on the plane. You're going to get on the plane, say at like midnight, and now you're going to fly to a new city. It's not uncommon to get into that new city at like 4 a.m., 5 a.m. You go to bed, you try to get your sleep. You're not going to get a ton because you got to get up and you got to get to the game the next day and go through your routine again. So it's very easy, and I find myself doing this now that I'm not a player. You forget about all of that stuff because you turn on the game. It's a 7 o'clock game. I turn on the game at 6:55, and boom, the players are there and they're playing. And then at 10 o'clock, the game ends, and I shut the TV off, and that's it. I go on with my life, and I don't think about all the other hours spent by the players getting ready for that current game and then the next game. And the season is so long. It's amazing now that when you're playing, you're just kind of grinding through it. But now, like, there'll come a point in July this year where I'm going to turn to my wife and I'm going to be like, I can't believe they're only at like the halfway point. Like, this is unbelievable. And always in August and September, I always say to Laura, I'm like, I can't believe they're still playing. This is the longest season of all time. And these players do it every single year. Okay, the next thing I'm going to say, and this is really difficult at the major league level. I struggle with this. Tons of players struggle with this. And again, if you watch that Netflix documentary with the Red Sox, it's called The Clubhouse, I believe, you're going to get really good insight, especially Jared Duran. He talks a lot about this, and you can really you can feel it when he's talking. But the pressure to perform and then the media pressure, especially depending on where you're playing. If you're playing in a big market like a Boston or a New York or an LA, the media pressure on top of the performance pressure to have to perform well to make sure you don't get sent down to AAA or get released or don't play baseball anymore. The combination of those two is very intense. Now, I played in San Diego where there was very little media. There was only a handful of reporters every day. But if you play in one of those big markets, you play in Boston, there are dozens and dozens and dozens of people that are following the game and following the team and writing about the team. And today's even worse. Back when I played, like, social media wasn't huge yet. But now, like, there's a billion bloggers. Everyone has a YouTube channel and a blog, and the media has just grown. It's huge. And so there's a ton of pressure. And when you're struggling, people are writing and saying a lot of bad things about you. And as much as you say as a player, like, I'm going to ignore it, it's really difficult when it's on the radio and it's on every social media outlet and it's on the TV. And even if you ignore it, you'd be surprised at how many people, whether it's your parents or your friends or just relatives or whoever, say, oh yeah, this guy said this about you. Oh, this guy was saying that you stunk. Oh, this woman wrote this about you. And so that can be really, really tough. Now, if you forget about all that, just think about the personal pressure, the pressure that you put on yourself to do well. And this is even worse than the media pressure and all that stuff. But knowing that you have to do well, that this is a business, and if you don't do well, then you are going to lose your job. That's the hardest thing possible. And when you're struggling, I'll say this, when you're not doing well and everybody's screaming and yelling at you, again, Duran talks about it a lot, about how his own fans in Fenway would be like, you suck, you stink. They would say way worse things than that. But basically they'd say, like, you should never play again in Boston, go back to AAA. As a player, like, I've had my own fans yell at me as well. I was a high pick. I was a first round pick. People expected me to come up and be unbelievable, and I wasn't when I was called up with the Padres. People say a lot of mean things to you. People are not happy that you're not doing well. As mad as they are that you're not doing well, you know who's way more mad? You. Like, when I'm not doing well, as much as people are yelling, you stink, you ruined my night, I'm a big fan, it's my career. I'm taking it way harder than any of the fans are. And so you put the most pressure on yourself. And I don't know the best way to describe this, but it is not uncommon to feel depressed about the way you're playing when you're not playing well. Like, when I was in the major leagues and I was dealing with a lot of stuff, I wasn't playing well. I was trying to go through swing changes. Coaches wanted me to hit a certain way. I didn't feel like myself. I felt like I was like having an outer body experience where, like, I was playing in the games, but it didn't feel like me. It felt like somebody else was playing instead of me. And I was trying to please all these people and it wasn't working. And the team was telling me, it's okay, don't worry, you'll be fine, we're working on things. But then I look at my batting average every day and it's going lower and lower, and people are saying that I stink and that I should go back to the minor leagues. And then I'm thinking I'm never going to play in the major leagues again. I've worked my whole life for this and I'm ruining my chances. And, there's a lot, and it's hard. Baseball's a game of failure. Anyone that's played knows that it is hard to fail. But when you do it at the major league level, when there's that much of attention on you and you're on TV every night, and like I said, your friends and your family are always texting you or calling you, what's going on? What's wrong? You don't look good. Why are you doing that? Why are you doing this? Like, that amount of mental stress that's put on you is really, really difficult to deal with. And I've said this before. There were plenty of days when I was in the major leagues where I didn't want to go to the park because mentally I was not in a good place. And there were plenty of times throughout my career, not even in the major leagues, in the minor leagues, I called up Laura plenty of times. I remember one time I was with Baltimore and I was horrible. And I said, I'm just coming home. Like, I can't play. Like, my brain is not working. I failed way too much. I'm not in the mental space to play anymore. Like, I'm coming home. I can't do it. And she was like, no, you're not coming home. Like, you're not quitting. You're going to figure it out. Well, I didn't have to quit because the Orioles designated me for assignment and then the Yankees claimed me. So, but then I had to go with the Yankees and I had to figure it out there. So I think out of everything, that might be maybe what fans think about the least is the mental pressure that players put on themselves. And a lot of people will say, well, you're paid millions of dollars, so deal with it. And that's fine. You're technically right. Players are paid a ton, but that doesn't make it any less difficult on a player's mind. A player, in my experience, I'm sure there are a couple, there are a few, but from what I've seen with players, and I know thinking in my own head, I have never failed and been like, well, I got paid $2 million to do this, so it's okay. Never once has that entered my mind. I never felt shitty after a game or depressed after a game because of how bad I played for the 4th straight night or the 7th straight night and been like, it's okay. I've got a lot of money in my bank account, so everything will be okay. Never did that enter my mind ever. Never did that make me any more happy. A lot of times people are like, oh, you'll be fine. Just go and spend some of the money that you have. Never did that help. So I know a lot of fans will say that. It does not help your mental state at all, at least in my experience and tons of players that I played with. So I could probably continue this video and keep going forever, but I think that's a little bit of an insight into maybe some things that fans don't think about when it comes to being a major league player and life in the major leagues. So if you have any more questions, let me know in the comment section below. Subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, give it a thumbs up, all that good stuff, and we'll talk to you later.
If you've got hitters that you're looking to improve before the start of next season, this is essential for you. Matt Antonelli here, former major league player, first-round pick, and college coach. With this course, we're going to show you exactly step-by-step how to generate power, develop bat speed, and enhance swing mechanics. Regardless of your hitter's age, this course is going to deliver advanced hitting techniques that will allow any hitter to get better and make an impact at the plate this spring. We have a full catalog of training content that you can access from anywhere at any time. This course is perfect for players, parents, coaches, instructors, and more. Our course has helped hitters all over the country at different competition levels, and the feedback that we've received has been outstanding. The work you put in now will drive your success at the plate this spring. Get the essential knowledge that you need to take your game to the next level.